The big story we're tracking coming in from Jammu and Kashmir at this hour. The Indian Army has retaliated strongly to Pakistan's ceasefire violation in northern Kashmir. 7 to 8 Pakistani soldiers were killed by the Indian Army in the retaliatory action that took place on the line of control. The casualties include commandos of Pakistan's Special Service Group. Indian troops retaliated strongly, causing substantial damage to Pakistan Army's infrastructure and casualties along the LOC. Several ammunition dumps, FOL dumps and multiple terrorist launch pads were destroyed. Video footage released by the Indian Army clearly showing Pakistani bunkers were blown to bits. In that video on your screen, a Pakistani soldier can be seen running away from the bunker as an Indian shell hits it point blank. 3 Indian Army soldiers, a BSF personnel and 3 civilians were killed in multiple ceasefire violations by Pakistani troops. At least 3 army men and 12 civilians were injured in that major flare-up that happened along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Kupwara, Bandipora, Poonch and Uri sector. Pakistan resorted to ceasefire violations after a terror infiltration attempt was foiled by the Indian troops. Pakistan initiated unprovoked ceasefire violation along the LOC, spread across multiple sectors to include Dawar, Kiran, Uri and Nogam. Pakistan used mortars and other weapons. Pakistan deliberately targeted civilian areas. 3 army men were killed in action in Kashmir's Baramulla district, and sub-inspector of the border security force was killed in Nogam, this sector of Kashmir's Kupwara district. Along with the Indian troops, 3 civilians were killed in Kashmir's Baramulla district, while 5 civilians were also injured in Kashmir's Bandipora district. Residents of Bandipora's Gurez sector have taken refuge in underground bunkers after Pakistan's ceasefire violation. A Pakistan mortar landed in Jammu's Poonch district. 5 civilian injuries are being reported from the area, including a middle-aged woman and 2 porters. This was Pakistan's second ceasefire violation this week. In 2020, there have been 4,052 instances of ceasefire violations by Pakistan, and over 120 were in the month of November itself. 20 people were killed in Pakistan's ceasefire violations, while in 2019, nearly 3,200 cases of ceasefire violations by Pakistan were reported. And joining us live on the broadcast this minute is Ishan Vani from Srinagar. Ishan, if you can bring us up to speed with the latest that we know at this point.
Well, the firing continues between both the sides at different sectors along the line of control in Kashmir, as well as towards the bid by the Pakistan. This was the second infiltration that was attempted earlier. We saw that 3 Indian Army men were killed, while 2 militants were killed while they tried to infiltrate. Now, in the morning in Kiran sector, Indian Army had spotted an infiltration bid, and that's when it was averted. And following that, there was a ceasefire violation according to Army by the Pakistan. They provoked the Indian Army and lobbed some shells towards not only the civilian population but also towards the Indian Army position, in which later on we saw that it spread towards Poonch and also in Baramulla's Uri. Now, several sectors later on we saw that witnessed ceasefire violation, including in Gurez. Several people of vulnerable areas were taken to these shelters which are underground, so that the civilian areas which were being hit by these shells several lives could be saved. But several civilians, including 3 of them, have died in Uri. We are hearing right now that 1 more civilian has come to his injuries. There are multiple injured civilians. At least 12 injuries have been reported, not only from the Kashmir side but also towards the Jammu region as well. But 3 Indian Army men losing their life while trying to respond to the Pakistan's provocation on the line of control in Uri. We already saw that Indian BSF man also lost his life. It's a very tricky situation given the fact that once the snow sets in, there will be almost no infiltration, and it will be difficult for the militants to sneak in through the line of control. And that is when the experts and the Indian Army says that they try to sneak in as many militants as possible through the line of control. Before the passes, which are traditionally used by the militants, the snow fills in and they are not able to come across, and that is basically the tactic, to send as many militants as possible. That's what the experts believe. And at the same time, if you look at this particular pattern, we have not seen for more than a year this kind of ceasefire violation. Even when the application of Article 370 happened, we didn't see so many casualties on a single particular day. But this time around, the entire Jammu and Kashmir, the LOC is active, and the army has been put on alert given the nature of this particular artillery firing, not only towards the Gurez, which is in North Kashmir's Bandipur, but also towards Baramulla, again in the North Kashmir, to which the line extends. The army has been put on alert. The troops have been told to stay vigilant on the line of control. Now, several innocent lives have been lost. Civilians have been injured. They are currently undergoing treatment at different hospitals, including a kid and a woman are among those injured. But we have to see that how the situation develops, because right now there are reports of some ceasefire violations taking place in Gurez sector, which is in Bandipur. These areas usually receive a heavy snowfall, and it is already met as predicted. There will be a snowfall in some days. So if the heavy snowfall and heavy snow sets in, it will be difficult for the militants to sneak in through the line of control. And the army believes that this is a tactic used by the Pakistan to usually send these militants before the snow sets in, so that the situation in Kashmir could remain volatile. But one has to see that for how long does the ceasefire violation continue between India and Pakistan. At the same time, this kind of ceasefire violation hasn't been witnessed for more than a year now.